Three. And we're live, Ryan Biever. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Good to be on here with you.
I am on top of the world right now. I couldn't be better, to be honest with you. I was in
Yeah,
a
just saw you and Mac are officially partners now.
yeah, man. It's
That's
really
awesome, man.
wonderful. So I've been to give everyone a little bit of an understanding. I was actually doing most of the I guess ownership director of operations work, so to speak. Like 3 months before we even made this partnership. So it was kind of a thing where we were going back and forth with the lawyers. My lawyer, Laura, who's actually a really good friend of my mom's, she wasn't experienced in that sort of, I guess, operating agreement. So she
Hmm.
really couldn't help us out. And I felt bad because I really wanted to pay her. And she was like, nah, you don't got to pay me anything. And we kind of just wasted like 2 months. So I was like, oh, shit. So Mac finally, he got us like a real proper lawyer who's been with the company for about like 3 years now. So I've been good, man. I've been working my ass off, and I posted on my story the other day that like I said, I was an intern for this company, man, sophomore year, like when me and you were living together, and it's just crazy to see that I visualized that into me taking ownership and seeing value in this company, and it turning into fruition. So I'm really content about that, dude. Really content.
Yeah, man. I'm super pumped for you because, talking to you all throughout college, I knew you were a guy that was super passionate about marketing, especially in the digital space. And I'm just happy to see that, like, you're part of something that is your passion and you really have a drive for it and being successful at it. So
Yeah,
I would say I wish you nothing but the best, but like I know you're gonna do good. Like
yeah.
I know the type of
I
guy you are
appreciate
and the
that.
type of drive you have. So
Yeah.
I'm not really hoping for anything. Like you're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And dude, shout out to you, bro, with fucking Oracle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you in Texas right now, or where are you?
No, I'm currently in PA still at my parents' house. Actually, my high school and elementary school bedroom right now.
Nice, nice.
It's missing my wardrobe that's packed up in a U-Haul box in our front driveway.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I'll be down there moving into my apartment. June 11th is when my lease starts. So I'll probably start my drive down around the 8th or 9th, depending on how quickly I want to get that done. But yeah, man, yeah, I'm pumped for it. One negative thing is like we just got told that we're going to be online for the beginning part of it with
Right.
everything going on. But my roommate, Josh De Leon, he actually went to Altoona. You might
His name
recognize
sounds
the
familiar. I
name.
probably met him.
Yeah, yeah, he's a real cool guy, real smart guy too. And I said, hey man, like, do you want to, try and get out of this lease because it didn't start yet. So, we'll be out of the application fee, yada yada, which would suck, but whatever. And I told him like, I still want to go to Austin, like I still want to, move
Austin's the
out.
best, man.
Yeah, I still want to go to this like a new city, get my own place, be out of my parents' house and like have my own life, right? And see where it takes me. And he's like, dude, I'm 100% on board. Like I don't care that we're going to be online for the first part of it. Like, let's go to Austin. Let's do everything like we were planning to do originally. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, we're going to do that. Let's do this, man.
So
So
I
I'm
I
pumped for it.
remember seeing your guys' place, and are you guys still going to live in that house?
Yeah. Well, we were going to live in that house if Hunter was going to
Right.
come down with us because it was 3 bedroom,
Hmm.
but he unfortunately couldn't move to Austin anymore. So we're like, all right, we're just going to get an apartment. And our apartment it's super nice. It's 2 bed, 2 bath, washer dryer in unit, gym on site. Um, and it's actually like walking distance from Oracle, and Oracle owns the apartment. So we got like
You guys are
the
hooked up.
original rent's like 1,500, right? And like
Okay.
we get 1,300 now. So we're
Hmm.
paying like 650 a month each to like be walking distance from work and like an
Perfect.
8-minute Uber drive from the heart of Austin City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
wonderful,
it's
dude.
pretty cost effective and a good spot.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because I was in the exact opposite position when I graduated high school. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had zero drive whatsoever. I think my GPA at the time was like a 3.3. I mean, which is not bad, but it's not like up to my kind of caliber that I hold myself now, like to a certain standard. And it's really wild what you can do when you work towards a goal and you see it slowly by slowly. You like Tom Segura has a new special. Like, have you heard of him? He has a ball hog right now on
Yeah, I know Tom
Netflix.
Segura. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
hilarious, dude. He's one of my favorite comedians actually right now. He's so funny, man. He's very he doesn't he See, the thing about him and Kevin Hart are night and day, right? Because Kevin Hart uses like all these like flashy animations, and I don't necessarily think Kevin Hart is that funny. Tom
Hmm.
Segura is just playing what you see is what you get, and he just writes solid bits. They're hilarious. And he made a really good point, dude. He was saying that, if your dream, you can manifest it and see yourself doing what you want. You also have to understand that it's not going to go exactly how it's planned, but you can still reach that dream. You just have to go through the bumps and the ups and downs, and that's exactly what's happened, dude. With you and me and Hunter. I was actually talking to him yesterday, dude. He's I think what he's still in a PA, and he's working towards like a management position right now, which is fantastic. And he was actually doing this. A new MMA gym opened up near him, and he's going to be doing that quite a bit. And
Yeah, dude, he really wants to give MMA a shot. And I mean, I told him like, dude, if that's what you want to do, like now's the time to do it because you're not going to be 22 years old forever. And like,
yeah,
you get to your late 20s and 30s, and man, like you get this. Now's the time to do it. Like, if you want to
yeah.
really go at it, like go at it hard. Like when you still are young and athletic, and it's easier for you to train than when you're 30. Like do it, man. Like if
What's funny,
what he wants
what's
to do,
funny,
I think
yeah.
he'd do it.
What's crazy about Hunter, dude, is I remember specifically when I was pledging, and it was like, man, it had to be like December. So it was the last month of pledging, and it wasn't like Hell Week, so we still were caught up on our sleep, but we were still just getting pissed, like, just hazed out of us. It was
Yeah.
horrible. Like ice baths, people would like throwing mayonnaise in each other's faces. Like it was a carnival, right? So I remember there was like fight night where people were like, it started off as like slap boxing, like that kind of stuff. And then it went to like people were just straight up fighting. And I remember Hunter came in one time. It was a beautiful day in December. It wasn't even that cold. We were all outside, and we are just like in a little circle, like in a cockfighting ring. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I remember Hunter steps in, and Rico, he's like Slender Man, right? He's so lanky and he's so skinny.
Yeah, he's like 6'3" and like huge, like
Yeah.
wingspan.
Yeah, and
Like,
he's not even like he doesn't have that much muscle, but he's like a John Jones where he's just so lanky he can like reach you when you can't reach him, right? And I
mhm.
remember, dude, like no one could beat Rico because no one could match that reach. So I remember Hunter came in and he just straight up got in like he was like Tyson, just bobbing and weaving, and then I don't know if they were like throwing punches. I think they were just like grappling a little bit. But dude, Hunter was he looked nice fighting.
Mhm.
And he's like Hunter has a good build for, I don't know if he's going to do like 170 or like welterweight or middleweight, but I think he can do either or. I mean, he's a really athletic guy. He's done some sports in the past, and yeah, I mean, hats off to him. The thing I will say about fighting is, not that like I could ever do it because I don't. I mean, I love watching fighting, as you know, but I couldn't do it
Yeah.
100% just because like that doesn't appeal to me. Like being a fighter is I'm just not that type of guy. Even though I would like to fight. Like if it happens, like I'm not saying I'm a pussy, but I'll definitely stand up to myself. It's like, yeah, I can't put 100 into this, and if someone else is giving 100%, I'm giving 50. I'm gonna get knocked out to the floor and lose brain cells.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Um, I do miss like doing jujitsu, man.
yeah,
When we
man.
had tuna, that shit was so fun. Like, not only for like just learning, like, oh wow, like this shit works. Like, if you need to use it, like it's an effective tool to like defend yourself, but also like your mindset. It's kind of like a little game of chess. Like
Yep.
me and you had such good sparring, dude. Like
It was so much
we
fun, man.
just learned so much from each other, and like really like figured out what we're good at and what our strengths are, and it was an awesome experience. Like I do miss that about college, like just having a readily accessible club to be like, all right, I'm good do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, dude. It was like, so we were at this club, and I think it was like near what, like Penn Building, and like the center of Altoona, something like that.
Hmm.
And it was like what, $20 a month, probably even less than that. And yeah, we would just go in this like little dojo, and we had about like 10, 15 people. And I know like the girl Silvana, if you remember her, like she was that little Brazilian girl, and the sensei. And
Yeah, and she was good, dude. Like she could fuck you up.
yeah,
Like
she was
if she
nuts,
got
dude.
in, if she got in close on you, dude, like she could definitely put you in
It
a
was over.
submission that
Yeah,
was
she was
not
like a
very
mini
fun.
mini Ronda Rousey. Dude, I remember I felt so salty because you remember this? I was talking to the sensei, and I think he was going over like a Kimura or like some real technical move, something with the shoulder lock, maybe Americana or Kimura. And I straight up like called him a pussy to his face, like not literally, but he's cranking my arm back, right, or forwards, whatever it goes, and I'm
Hmm.
like, he's like, so you're supposed to tap now, and I'm like, okay, but like I don't feel any pain, like you can go harder. He's like, tap now, and I'm like, I'm not gonna tap if I don't feel pain, like you need to like do it correctly. And he's like, no, you need to tap. I'm just like showing a move. I'm like, no, you need, like, I don't feel any pain. Like, just do it. Like, he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. So he's like, I'm just like calling him out in the front of the class, saying he doesn't have any strength. And dude, I don't know if you remember, but like everyone like paused and stopped, and they're like, yo, like just like submit, like just let him do what he
Yeah,
wants.
just tap, dude.
Yeah, just tap it. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm this asshole. So I went over and apologized. I'm like, yeah, sorry, sensei, or whatever the fuck I called him. I was like, I didn't mean to like embarrass you, but yeah, it's just, I wanted to just feel the pressure, and I wanted you to apply the proper squeeze that you needed to. That's all really what I wanted to do. He's like, yeah, no problem, whatever. So whatever. But yeah, dude, I really miss those roles. I mean, jujitsu was it's something, it's so crazy. Like, it's the best martial art, I think, because like, I don't know if you remember, but when Matt was like super drunk, so we had this one kid in Altoona. We were at Penview Suites, and we were in the bottom floor, 102, right? We were 102, something like that, I think. I don't know. And
uh, yeah, definitely. What it was 100 something. I think it was
yeah,
102, dude. Yeah.
yeah, I think it was 102 as well. And we had the biggest space in the entire complex. Like, you had, so it was the 500s, the 400s, 300s, 200s, and the 100s were the ones that were just renovated, built. So it was beautiful. And we each had our own room, own shower. It was perfect. And I remember we had this one kid, Matt Sickle, who I love him to death. He's my boy, but sometimes he gets a little liquored up. And he was like feeling a little hostile, feeling a little ballsy. And I don't know what we were fighting about, but he was like, play grappling with me. And I'm like, oh, you want to like test this? All right, bet.
Yeah,
So
like you want to go?
yeah, so he like tries to take me down, or like, I don't know, and I sprawl. I get on top of him, and then I just like full mount him immediately, and I just like do an arm bar, and then like Chalk, our Indian roommate, comes out. He's like, "Oh, he's doing WWE! Oh shit!" I was cracking up. I was like, at that point, I didn't even do the arm bar that hard. I was like, man, this is fucking some Brock Lesnar shit right here. This is nuts.
I remember, dude, like you put him in that arm bar so quick, and I was like, yeah, Matt, that was gonna happen, dude. Like you don't
This is
know what you're doing. Like,
yeah, this is real life, dude. You better get acclimated real quick, or you're gonna be done.
yeah, and it's
But
not like Matt's a small guy. He's pretty big,
no, yeah, he's big, dude.
And
He's
it's not like he's weak either. Like he's big, like like just like a big lumbering guy, like
yeah,
like, and he just you knew what you were doing, and he didn't know what he was doing, and that's what it came down to.
dude. We used to smoke so much, and especially me. I used to blaze like every day, and now it's like, I mean, I have a pen. Hold up, do I have it right here? Yeah. I have this little baby right here. I got, because I have that medical card now. And this is like a disposable. That's all they had because of the corona. Like, everyone's ordering online, so that's the only
Hmm.
like inventory they had. But it's like, I think it
What
was
was
like,
that process like for you?
so it was really simple, man. I mean, I don't know how it's going to interfere with Oracle, so I don't really want to talk about it like on your behalf, because I don't know, like, if you want to. I don't want you to get in trouble, But
Yeah.
for me, how it was is, there was 3 steps, right? And I was kind of skeptical, because my one intern, I heard about it from this guy named Thomas Cavalcante. Shout out to Tommy boy, because I love this guy. I mean, he's great. He's like really, really young, really hungry, like real estate entrepreneur, like mindset, just like us. Like, he's awesome. And I saw on his post on his Instagram the other day, like a month ago, he's like, yeah, you could get medical cards for like 150. Hit me up. And I'm like, okay, like, this is legit. So I'm okay. So I texted the number, and it was this guy Ethan from Check PA. Now, Check PA is like the the filtering system that goes through all of the cards to make sure like you're legitimate, and it's kind of like the middleman between you and the doctor to make sure that you get the proper paperwork and everything processes right. So I'm like, okay, cool. So what's this process look like? And he says it's 3 steps. So the first thing is, you have to fill out this Google form, which is like, just name, date, birth, whatever. Second step is, you actually have to schedule a consultation with the doctor and have an interview with them. And I was like, okay, cool. So you have to
Yeah,
download this
you
app.
got to definitely have at least one touch point with a doctor in that whole
Yeah,
process.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I never had this happen before. It was like, wow, this is actually pretty funny. And the doctor's name was like Dr. Suri. It was like some Indian name, Vihadi. I don't know, but something like that. And really nice guy. And he's like, okay, what do you need the card for? And I'm like, well, I have insomnia and like anxiety, which I mean I had before, but I don't really, it's not a problem now. And he's like, okay, okay, this is fine. So it's going to be $100 to the state, and it's going to be $50 to me on behalf of me giving you this consultation and the card. And I'm like, okay. And that was it. That was just the conversation. We didn't go into like specifics. He was just like, okay, what do you need it for? I told him, and he was like, okay, here it is. It was a 5-minute call, dude. It was really,
Yeah.
it was a little longer than anticipated because I was just kind of like buttering him up and warming him up, like making him feel good about him. Like,
Yeah, like you didn't know like how cross-examined you were gonna
yeah,
be by him.
exactly. Yeah. So I needed to just play, as safe as I could and not, because dude, there was this one girl who hit me up and she's ridiculous. So let me finish before I go into another story. Let me finish this. So then I get the card in the mail 5 days later, 150, and it has where is it actually right now? I'll show you it. It is it's just a picture of my face, like with the driver's license. So it's like that. I know it's kind of backwards, but and if you,
Nice.
yeah, patient, yeah, it's medical marijuana ID card. It expires in a year, so April 30th. And I mean, if I could give a review to these guys, I would give them 5-star because it was very simple, and I love it. I mean, it's just now I can go anywhere in PA and buy bud. It's fantastic, and it's it's a really simple process, man. It was really great. Um, I can't say more enough about it. It's really simple, and the prices where I was at my first dispensary were really cheap too. They were like $20 for a disposable thing. There was like $30, which this is what I have here, and it's like real strong. Like how they go through it is so. I'm not really like the lingo they use is like, oh, here's our menu, and I'm like, okay, menu, and it's like, he's like, do you want grass? Do you want oil? Do you want CBD mixed with oil? Do you want vape? And I'm like, oh my god, like I'm like, Jesus Christ, like just get me high. I don't care what
Yeah.
just get me high. I don't care. And she's like, okay, like, what's your vibe like? And I'm like, well, I work a lot, so I just want to come home, hit something, whether it's a vape or, bong a couple times, just like, relax a little bit, get in that, good mindset, good peaceful mindset, hit a nice workout maybe while I'm stoned, because I like doing that. And yeah, just play some video games and meditate and go to sleep. And she's like, okay, we have this and this for you. This is gonna be good for sleep. This is gonna be better for you for the relaxation. I'm like, oh my god, this is like perfect. This is like it's like if you have I don't even know, like a deficiency in vitamin C. It's like, okay, here's your vitamins right now. Like it's exactly what you need, and it works to a T. Like this is what I hit it. It's like exactly what I want. It's the exact vibe, and it's perfect. So I can't recommend it enough. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that's really cool about having a medical card or having like recreational marijuana is that you can get strains and stuff that do the task you want it to do, right? Like
Yep.
the traditional way that we were used to, like we just, all right, whatever, I'll get this. I don't really know what it is, but if it does the job, it does the job, right? But
100%.
the world nowadays, man, like you can get stuff that makes you amped up, gets you energetic, makes you like relax, makes you sleep. I don't know, like makes you be more introspective, like all different types of, you know, vibes that you can get from it. It's pretty cool. It
Yeah, it's
still just
wonderful.
boggles my mind that like this shit is not federally legal. Like it just blows my mind.
I thought it was going to be legalized when what's his name stepped down as chairman. I forget his name, but old guy, really against pot, like really conservative. But I think who do you think's going to be reelected?
Oh man, like if you say who do you think's gonna be reelected, then Trump. But like,
Or,
who do I
well,
think?
elected, I
Yeah,
should say. Yeah,
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 okay.
elected.
Honestly, dude, like I just don't think Biden can beat Trump. Like the type of person Trump is, like Trump is going to absolutely dismantle him.
Yeah,
Like he's gonna talk about the elephants in the room. He's gonna insult him, like and all that stuff. And like, I just don't think that Biden has the mental fortitude to defend himself from Trump attacks, especially on a national debate stage. Like, honestly, this virus has been one of the best things for Biden because it's keeping him out of, national spotlight. And his numbers have actually been trending upwards the less he appears in national spotlight. And I don't think we have ever seen a candidate that starts trending upwards when they appear less. And that's just crazy to me. So honestly, dude, I don't think Biden can beat Trump.
I agree with you 100%. I think that Trump is just one of these characters where he knows how to speak well and he knows how to tell the narrative that he wants, and he can impose that on, you know, anybody. And here's the thing, man. A lot of people are condemning Trump for, oh, you know, he's not running this country well with the virus. But who, name me one person who you think that could run it better. Like,
Yeah.
think
It's
about,
just an unprecedented scenario. It's such a multifaceted issue that it's not, oh, this doing this good and doing this bad. Like
and
there's so much gray area.
there's the main thing is, and this is what I was listening to on Instagram a little earlier before the pod. It was Prez on Barstool. He was saying, excuse me, it's not political, and we shouldn't make this virus political. We should just do what's right, and that's so true. And here's the thing, man. Trump wants to get Elon Musk, and I love Elon Musk so much. Like, he has the balls to go out and say, "F California, I'm doing this." He's gonna move to, like, what, Nevada or like Louisiana, whatever he was gonna do.
He's looking at Nevada and Texas,
Nevada,
actually.
Texas. There you go. If he moves to Texas, there you go. That'd be even better. But I get the small businesses back. And I'm, like I said, I'm so grateful, man, because I can run my whole platform off of just this. I don't need to move. I don't need a brick and mortar. I could work literally, like I was talking to my boy Andrew the other day. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, same
oh,
here. Like both our jobs are like that. Like
yeah,
we're very fortunate to like work in technology that, we don't need to show up to actually complete our job.
100%. And he made a good point, dude. Andrew was like, so you could work, you'd be homeless, or you could work in a Starbucks and you'd be okay. I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah, I'd be even better probably, because I could, you know, get some coffee and just like have a nice little setting, you know, instead of my cramped room with that. I don't want to turn the camera, but there's like an onslaught of clothes and a bunch of other clutter going on here. But yeah, man, it's the main thing is, I think when it comes to, because let's just be honest, it's going to be Biden, it's going to be Trump. We know that. So you look at the intangibles, and I just think that, you know, a lot of people are saying that the younger voters are going to come in and overweigh Trump, which I don't agree with at all. I think that the silent majority that showed up in the first election with Hillary and Trump is going to come back again, maybe if not stronger. I mean, because it's just, you have to understand. I don't even know Trump's approval rating right now. It might be like, I know it's really high. I know it was higher than it once was. I mean, what you just made a good point of, that he when he was meeting, or when he wasn't doing like these public appearances,
You
he
mean
still,
Biden?
yeah.
Yeah. Biden's been trending upwards because like he's been appearing less. Like there's a correlation there, not saying that's like the direct causation to it, but like there's definitely a correlation between him not showing up in public spotlight and him trending upwards. As soon as he started doing his stuff from his basement and not being out and about as much, like he started trending upwards. So there's
Yeah,
definitely something to look at there.
yeah. I just, you know, my thing is, I like Trump, and I really like just, I mean, it's really, here's the thing. And when I say that, people are going to attack me or whatever, but I think, like, in terms of being a leader for this country, and a lot of people like to argue, oh, Biden can have a good cabinet, like with Obama. And dude, what about Obama coming out and say, oh, he's doing a horrible job managing the coronavirus? No one, like, put it this way: if anyone was to come out and say, "Oh, Obama is this," but they'd be labeled a racist. They'd be labeled, "Oh, you don't you know, you're just a horrible person." It's, dude, the double standard is so real, and it's just terrible that you can't articulate your feelings about like a former president, and not be, you know, racial about it. And everyone likes to be the fucking victim, dude, and just make it, you know, that way. And
Well, what really just sucks about this whole scenario is, like you said earlier, like it's become so political. And, once things become political, like people just lose all sorts of rationality. And it's like, all right, like this is an unprecedented thing that has happened to our country, right?
yeah,
In 1918, like you had the Spanish flu, and I think that infected like 500 million people and killed 50. Like those are just like rough estimates.
yeah, something like
So
that.
objectively worse so far than coronavirus, who's only, I think, worldwide has infected like 4.6, 4.5 million people, something like that.
Something like that.
But, where like the Spanish flu lasted the course of like 2.5 years, maybe 1.5
Yeah,
years.
it wiped out. I mean, this is
Yeah, and it killed a
horrible.
lot of people, and it was a really, really bad time. But are we at that point yet where it's like that level of like fear and terror? I don't know. Um,
No,
I think it's just very interesting seeing like how scared people have become, and like the issue has been made political and people are really, really scared. There's a lot of people that are like, holy crap, like my grandparents might die, my
yep.
infant child might die, or even I might die, and like they're afraid. So nobody's really like thinking rationally of like, all right, what is all that we can do to mitigate this problem and get back to normal life? Because there's only so much we can do, like it's a virus, we can make a vaccine, but like that, we may or may not ever make a vaccine. And if we do make a vaccine, is it going to be 2 months from now? Is it going to be a year from now? Or is it going to be 5 years from now? That's all things that are uncertain. So I think more people need to focus on what we can certainly control in our environment and what we can do to get back to normal life, because the longer we spend away from normal life, like people are going to become animals. Like I hate to say it, but like they're gonna lose like, generosity and empathy and respecting each other, because they've just been in this mentality of like, I'm out for myself, I'm out for myself, I'm out for me and my family. And like I don't think it's gonna be a good thing for society, and it's gonna push us farther away from each other.
Yeah, it goes to a more primal instinct for sure. And dude, I want to read you something right now. I don't know if you listen to Dr. Rhonda on Rogan, but there's a really interesting study, and I'll go through that now. It's saying a study, and there were 3 different studies. A study in Indonesia found that out of the patients that died from COVID-19, 99% of them were deficient in vitamin D, while only 4% of the patients were sufficient in vitamin D died. There was
That's
another study
interesting.
of patients in New Orleans found that 85% of the COVID-19 patients in the ICU were deficient in vitamin D, while only 4% of the patients in the ICU had sufficient levels of vitamin D. And the third study was a study in the Philippines that found that for every standard deviation increase in vitamin D, people were 7.94 times more likely to have a mild rather than severe COVID-19 outcome, and almost 20 times more likely to have a mild rather than critical outcome. And 70% of the U.S. population is vitamin D insufficient, and 30%, are deficient. So, or are sufficient rather. So that is so big. And the thing that I was really, because I'm not a medical professional, I talked to my friend Chris about this because he's going to be a PA, so he knows more about this virus probably than anyone. I mean, just like in my friend group
In
that I
your
can
immediate circle, yeah.
exactly that I can talk to and like just try to make sense of it, right? So I was like, there has to be some factor that we're not catching, and because it's infecting. I mean, let's just be honest, it's infecting. You know, it doesn't. In terms of in it actually in the cases, it's not there. There's no main group that they're targeting. Sure, people that are have cardiovascular disease, hypertension, diabetes are more likely to catch it and die from it. But I mean, like kids are being infected, me, like people like me and you are being infected. So like 20-year-olds, like everyone's being infected with this virus. But I was like, the fact that with vitamin D, that's actually really interesting because that might be the factor amongst. I mean, this virus is multi different facets. Like there's not just one virus. There's a bunch of different strains of the virus, right? So
Yeah, it has different mutations, and
yeah,
some mutations are weaker and some mutations are stronger, like, and yeah, like dude, it's just such an intricate topic that like you just brought up these studies, like okay, they're finding this out about vitamin D, right?
mm,
But you know the numbers seem to be pretty strong for that vitamin D case. So like this might be a factor in like whether people survive having this or don't.
yeah,
But what if that's a factor? What other factors are there that could be out there, and like what other factors like put you in a position to be more susceptible to dying compared
yeah.
to yeah, like
And,
there's no
and
one really knows, man.
there's and I'm not saying that is the main factor, as you know, but I don't want people to get confused. But and
I wasn't saying you were. I was just saying like
yeah, I know what you're saying.
obviously those are some very important numbers. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy, like 99%. But like there could be so many other
and,
things
and
too
there
on
are
top of that that we're
there's
missing.
probably there. I mean, I don't. I'm not a medical expert. I'm way from that, but there's probably hundreds of different factors that play into everything. But I just found that with Dr. Rhonda Patrick, she's like pretty, reliable, and that was just an interesting thing. But yeah, I mean, it's there's probably hundreds of factors, man. But the one thing I will say, and this is going to sound kind of harsh, is that the people that did die, I mean, like the people that were, 80, I mean, they've lived a life already, but the people that died when they were like, 30, 40, 50 and had hypertension, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, all of these, pre-existing conditions. I mean, diabetes, type 1, let's throw out because they can't control that really. But it's it's really tough because it's not that like, it's like, okay, well, here you go. Like, you don't take care of your body, you're going to, die. But it's like, this should be a big wake up call to the people that are overweight, the people that are, smoking, the people that are drinking, is to take better care of your health, right? Like, for me, I mean, I probably live one of the healthiest because I'm always, and it's just like, it's not because I'm anxious and I'm like, oh, I want to, live longer. I mean, there's probably some of that too, but I just want to feel good, man, and
Yeah.
live as long as I can and just, be on top of my game. So, I'm eating ginger constantly. I'm eating, all of my vitamins. I'm carb cycling. I mean, no gluten. Like, I tried being vegan for a week, and that was, that was rough on the toilet side because, man, not
I
like
can only imagine.
eating all of that fiber. It's like, wow, this is a totally different ball game. I mean, Jesus Christ, you thought a herpes rash burned. Talk about my asshole. Holy shit,
Jesus Christ, man.
it was horrible. But dude, so what? Have you been following the UFC at all?
Um, I saw that they just had a fight recently. Yeah, they've been going back to normal, or like not normal, but trying to at least um give people entertainment. But no, I haven't really been keeping up.
Yeah, so there's I mean, I'm really happy obviously because of the first sports.
I'm like looking, trying to find a document I did for a class. I just wanted to go through some like dates with you about the coronavirus.
Oh yeah,
Um,
please do. Please find that. But the cool thing is, dude, the UFC is going to get so much more popularity just because of the first organization back, and even more so because it's just like it's such a primal sport, obviously, and that's why I've been getting into hunting too recently, like with Cam Haines. He's he's one of my big inspirations in life. Him, Cam Haines, Goggins, Rogan. I mean, these guys are just savages.
yeah, man, I got nothing but respect for people that go in the octagon and literally risk their lives.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, there was a guy this weekend. I felt horrible because I don't know if I don't think you watched the fight, but there's this guy Anthony Smith who he's like 30 years old, number 4 light heavyweight in the world, just fought for the title and lost. Came back and won his last fight against like the number 1 contender, and dude, he got his ass handed to him. He was looking good in the first couple rounds, but third, fourth, and fifth, it was like all 10-8 rounds, and that's never happened in combat sports history. Is a 10-8 round. In boxing, in MMA, there hasn't been 3 consecutive 10-8 rounds because that's just pure dominance. That's just pure, just
just being
domination.
outclassed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's hard to watch, man, because like this guy had teeth falling out. Like he literally took his broken
Jesus,
teeth
man.
out and gave it to the ref. He's like, "Yo, hold on to these." And it's even more real because there's no crowd, so you can actually hear the fighters talk. And Glover Teixeira, the number 8 guy in the world who beat him, he's like 40 years old, and he's still like he looked really good. And he was on top of Anthony. He was like, "Man, sorry, like this is like I got to do what I got to do." And Anthony was like, "It's part of the job, man. Whatever." And it was just like they had that little cordial, conversation back and forth, that dialogue, and it was just, oh man, I can't get enough of it. I just love that stuff so much. But yeah, nothing but props to the fighters, man. I say this time and time again. You gotta, I mean, you have to respect them. I mean, whenever they get, it's not like basketball where you get, you throw up a shot or you get a rebound and like you twist an ankle. It's like these people are losing their brains. Like I mean,
Yeah.
boxing more so because it's heavily it's more towards the head, whereas MMA there's leg kicks, takedowns, submissions. There's less likelihood you're gonna totally go to the head. But yeah, dude. But yeah, there's fights today actually. It's Alistair Overeem, Walt Harris, this guy literally just lost his daughter, so I hope he wins. And yeah, it's all around. It's a pretty good night of fights, I have to say. I'm actually gonna go golfing in a couple of hours. We're gonna go over to
Dude, I
Jimmy's
am too.
apartment.
I'm going at 12:37 with my buddy.
Nice.
So I'm hype about that. But yeah,
What's
dude, I
your
actually found this document.
nice? Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Hit me with
so
some.
if you want to, yeah. So in my 400 level class, there's like a deception theory class. So
Yeah, I remember.
um,
Okay.
yeah, so we're looking at like how governments, handle deception, counter deception, all sorts of stuff like that, right? So I compiled like a timeline of the coronavirus starting December 31st. So China reported on December 31st to the World Health Organization several cases of pneumonia in Wuhan,
Right.
right? January 1st, information is uncovered that confirms several of those infected worked at the, I'm going to butcher this, but it's the Huanan, Huanan seafood market, which is that wet market, right?
Okay.
Uh, so the market was also shut down on that day, and the number of reported infections grows past 40. January 5th, the Chinese officials rule out the possible resurgence of the SARS virus, right? Um, which also originated in China in
Mhm.
2002. January 7th, China announces to the World Health Organization that they have identified a new virus, right? So January 7th, the World Health Organization knew that there was a new virus on January 7th.
Yeah, so early.
But it took until January 23rd to quarantine Wuhan. And they knew on January 27th that, hey, this is something new. Like we haven't seen this before, right?
Right.
And the on January 23rd, the same day China is quarantining Wuhan, the World Health Organization officially states the outbreak did not yet constitute a public emergency of international concern.
Sure.
Well, why is China quarantining Wuhan, man? Like, if
Yeah.
it's not a concern, why in the world are they shutting down an 11 million person city?
It's a complete lack of responsibility on their part, and just a lack of communication. It's, I mean, I didn't even know that, but
Yeah, and dude, if you want to get more into it, like China canceled all domestic flights and all flights into Wuhan, but all flights out of Wuhan during that time were okay. And it's
okay.
like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Pick
what
one.
is
Pick
what
one.
is going on
Yeah.
here, right? Like I refuse to believe that people that work for the Chinese government, people in the World Health Organization are like that dumb that they didn't realize that that's not a good idea, right? Like someone had to have like let that go on, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like
They're
obviously they knew something was happening, they knew they had a virus, but they either it was just a massive oversight or they just were like screw it, let it happen, see
you
what
can't have
let's
it. You
let's
can't have it
research
both
and
ways.
analyze and see what happens.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it where you're going to completely quarantine everything, but you're still going to let people go out and leave, risk infecting the entire world. You need to be consistent across the board. Dude, the whole like United Nations Health Organization. I mean, we could totally use a revamp of a system in that because it's there, but man, it's not doing jack. It's not doing anything. I think that people like we just really need a new way of it just seems like superficial. Like people just go up and show up and it's like, oh yeah, we're at war peace. But like, and I know like, here's the thing, bottom line, people can make an argument. Like I'm not saying you're what you just said is BS. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's correct. But
Yeah, all that is like official reports like of the
yeah,
dates when stuff happened. The
you,
only thing we're concerned with like in our class is like, okay, well, what does information coming out on these dates suggest is going on, right?
yeah,
Because this is the information that they're releasing to the public, so obviously there's stuff that like they aren't releasing, and we're just trying to put ourselves in the mindset of like people that are handling this publications, right?
yeah. And it's the thing is, dude, people can make an argument. They can, if people want to be scared, you can be scared because you're going to find the numbers and the data that prove that, yeah, this is bad and this is going to get horrible. This is going to be like the Spanish flu. But you look at the numbers or you look at the things that you just said, and it's like, oh, the U.S. is to blame. Well, no, you need to look at the facts, and there was just a total lack of communication on China's
Yeah.
side.
Like, I'm not saying that China was malicious in their intent. I'm not saying that, they wanted to infect the world, whatever. That is all speculation. But what's fact is that there was a massive oversight in the handling of this initially between the communication with China and the World Health Organization. There's no dispute there. Like, there obviously was a huge disconnect of how serious China thought it was and how serious the World Health Organization thought it was, which was who was supposed to relay the world information, right? So China's quarantining people, and they directly say this is not of international concern. Well, look at it now, man. It's pretty damn near the top international concern for
And
everybody.
yeah, and on top of that, dude, you look at SARS and what was it? You said 2002, right? I believe.
Hmm.
2 decades ago, and you don't think they would take err on the side of caution and take you know uh, proficient measures to so it wouldn't spread. I mean, that's just to them to be so negligent. It's just it's it's ridiculous. And I mean, we could talk about this forever and ever. It's just it's one of these things where you can make whatever case you want. If you want to be optimistic and be like, yeah, this is going to be okay, get out of your house and just like, first of all, the people that like, and you saw the thing about Fauci on 60 Minutes saying that the masks, it's just more of a comfortability thing. It's not actually like preventing the virus. Did you see
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it's and then people like they're gonna have like masks in their cars, right? They're gonna be driving around with masks in the car. It's like no, it doesn't need to be that. It's not that big. It's not that deep. It's not that
Well,
much.
and that, like, most of the people aren't wearing like they're wearing like cloth masks or like handmade masks, and it's like, dude, that's doing next to nothing, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's not designed to stop this tiny ass particle like getting into your
it's
respiratory system.
flowing through any material that they can make. Well, at least the
Yeah.
material with the cloth. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Here's the thing. I'm so like I said, I'm blessed that we have this job and that I can go out and like have a nice day at the range, and get a couple get a full 18 in. But dude, I didn't shoot too bad. I shot like an 85 last week. Um,
Damn.
at my one course. Yeah, I was, dude. So I when I went to Roman Catholic, I was on the golf team, and I was like, I was okay. I wasn't like the best, but we had a PGA pro, and I forget his name, but he was so helpful. Like he was one of those guys where he would rather sit and teach and just like chill rather than like
But
going
he
to
just
PGA
loves the
course.
game that much that
Yeah,
he
like
gets more enjoyment of seeing other people like get into it and
absolutely.
do well.
Yeah, I can't like that's so honorable of him, and just I can't thank him enough. He's such a good guy, man, and he's actually I believe he's like another state right now. I haven't heard from him in a long time, but he taught me everything I know today. I mean, I used to like when I picked up the game. I'll be honest, I was like pretty decent at it already, and because I sucked at baseball, I had a horrible baseball swing. So I was like, there's like that old saying: if you're good at baseball, you're gonna suck at golf, and vice versa. If you're have a good golf swing, you're gonna be trash at baseball. It's so true. I mean, and I couldn't hit for anything. I was like, Jesus Christ! But then when I picked up a golf club and I swung it, I was like, okay, like, and I would notice like my ball would go, it wouldn't go that far at first, but it would be straight. I would be hitting it and I wouldn't like, chip it and it would go like into the grass, or it would be like, veering off into the right or going to the left. It would be, consistently straight. And I was like, okay, like this is pretty cool. And like all the instructors were like, yeah, like you have a, pretty natural, swing. It's nice. And yeah, I picked up the game and I love it ever since. It's the thing I like most about golf is the challenge because you know
Yeah, you
it's
play yourself. You play against yourself.
yeah, exactly, the individual uh, effort is that's definitely something I can't get enough of.
Yeah.
It's so
Like, you
fascinating.
play against yourself, your own emotions, your own like thought process. Like, I'm not a great golfer by any means. Like, I usually shoot in the 90s, like on an average day.
That's still okay,
Um,
man.
but I basically just live for like those few great shots that I will hit when I'm out there. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
hit a few shots that I'm like, yeah, like that was fucking nice. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I
That
hit the
gets you
piss
coming
out of
back.
that ball.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Yeah, like that's what it's all about. Is like you know, I'm gonna have holes where I just blow up and nothing's going the way I want it to, and I can't putt, whatever. But
Right.
I'm gonna have a couple of shots and a couple of drives where I'm like, you know what, like maybe I can do this. Like it's almost like an addiction, right? Like you just get that little dopamine hit, and you're like,
Yep.
yeah, like dude, you know, I'm coming back. Like I can do this, right? So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
No,
worst
that's
part about my game is like by far my putting, dude. Like I can't putt
really.
for shit. Yes. Like a three putt is like great for me. I'm like, dude, sick. But like, you know, like when I go out, like I'll hit my driver off the first tee box, right? And I'm like, all right, if my driver's doing good, I'm gonna stick with it. But if I hit one bad driver shot, I'm like, all right, I'm hitting my 4 iron, right? I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
hit it straight and put it in the fairway, right?
Yep.
So once I started doing that, I started, you know, getting to the green and 2, 3, like a lot more consistently.
Yeah.
But my putting is just like fucking terrible, man. Like I just cannot putt. I don't know what it is. Like I practiced putting a lot in high school and like I just never got better at it.
The thing about putting is it's every single course you go to. I mean, have you golfed at this course before that you're going to?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've gone up there like probably like 10 times.
Okay, cool. So then you know the greens. Like I didn't realize that when I was young and so naive and green to the game. I was like, yeah, like all greens are, they're going to be the same speed.
Hell
Fuck,
no, dude.
fuck no. I wish that was the case.
Hell no.
It's like Walnut Lane, which is where I used to play at Roman. They're slow as molasses. I mean, you can hit the ball, as hard as you can. And it's going to go like 2 feet. It's you have to really put some effort into putt. But then there's other courses like where I used to go to White Marsh Valley, and even if you tap it, it's like, oh, it's in the bunker, the other side of the green. You know what I mean? It's those type of things where you have to play out in your head. And I mean, what I do is I really just try to look at the texture of the grass and like the quality of it. The better quality I found of the green, the more fast it's going to be. And I mean, it's just really about practice and like, you have to squat down and like look at the ball and okay, like what's the tilt going and okay, the wind, you have to factor that in too. And then just there's a whole bunch of different variables, but you can get good at putting. I mean, my worst thing about my game is I wouldn't say my driver, but definitely like when I go off the tee, it's like, because I can drive pretty far. Like it really depends on the hole, but my direction, it's like I'll have to put some effort into like really finding because if there's like some holes, they're clear as day, you can just hit it straight and that's fine. I mean, that's cool with me. But there are other holes where it like takes a weird bend and there's like a
Hmm.
curve and like mine goes straight, so I have to really like I'm like, okay, like there's trees right here. Can I hit it over the tree or like? Because I don't have any slice in my game. It's literally straight. Which I mean, I guess it's okay, but it's just you don't want to. You need some slice. You need to learn how to control that. And I wish I learned like how to where like when you were chipping, you could like backspin on it. I want to learn how to
Hmm.
do that. You just have to like really like tilt your club high so the face is like completely open and just really like get under it and that curve that backspin. But yeah, man, I love the game so much. I'm so eager to play this today. It's gonna be a great day.
Yeah, you definitely have to let me know how you're doing because we'll probably be, what time are you going? Like we'll probably be on the course around like the same time as each other.
Yeah, I have to go to the bank in like half hour, and then I'm gonna go. We're probably gonna tee off at like 1. So yeah, we'll be.
Yeah, like
I'll text
basically at
you.
the same time.
Yeah, I'll text you. I'll be like, yeah, I'm fucking playing like shit, man. You jinxed me.
Well,
Like,
dude,
God damn
like
it.
I mean, man, I know I go out with a lot of my buddies, um, and like, dude, I think the number one thing that like I'm not like I said, I'm not a good golfer by any sense. Like, there's people that are a lot better than I am, but like I'm good enough to like have a fun time, right?
Yeah,
And that's like, you know, like when you're shooting like 120 and like it's not very fun for you, right? Like I was there at one point and you're like, dude, like this fucking sucks. Like, you know, like I can't hit the ball, whatever, whatever. Like, dude, I'm telling people, like I try to tell people all the time, like if you want to save strokes, like when I hit it, like me and my buddies, like depending on who I'm play with, like we either be like, all right, dude, you hit your first one OB, like hit another one. If this goes OB, we'll count it, like whatever.
yeah,
And some of my buddies were like, dude, you go OB first hit or like off the tee box, like boom, like we're counting it, right?
yeah,
And so it's just like feeling out like who you're gonna play with, right? And I'm like, Dude, if you can't hit your driver, like which most people can't consistently, like
Mhm.
I'm inconsistent with it. Some days like it's fucking straight as hell
Totally
and
part
it's
of my
perfect,
game.
and other days I'm hooking, and other days I'm slicing. But dude, 4 iron for me is like automatic. Like I can hit that club a nice, like 180, 200, relatively straight, maybe with like a little hook, a little draw, you know what I mean? And it's gonna be in the fairway. So I just started doing that, and like my game is just improved dramatically.
Yeah. I mean, I started doing that and I kind of geared up to the driver. And yeah, I mean, like my driving iron, I have a 5 where I can just crush it, man. I can do like at least 200, like, and I love that club. I mean, I had a time where I was in, I hit double eagle. I was fucking crazy. I hit it, and it was obviously a par 5, and I drove it literally onto like the fringe. I don't know how I did this, but it was the farthest drive I've ever had in my life. It probably
Hmm.
had to be like four something, and I crushed it. I mean, I wasn't in a good mood at all because I was like hitting pretty shitty that day. So I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna crush it, and like wherever it goes, it goes. And it was just like the Happy Gilmore thing. Fucking get that twist and that power and the man. I fucking killed it, and it was like I can, and you know how like when you have a good hole and you can feel the momentum just building and you have a
Hmm.
good sense of yourself. I was like, okay, this is probably my best hole I've ever played ever. Just relax, don't like just try to get birdie, right? I've what 3 more strokes to get birdie. Just chip it on 2 putt, we're good, right? So I looked at it and Tiger Woods, I think he hit like birdie, like that Masters putt where he chipped it, he's on the fringe, and then it just like rolls, and then it hangs in the cup, and then it just goes in.
If you showed me it, I'd probably like
Yeah, yeah. He's like like
he has
that.
so many chip ins and
Yeah,
crazy shit that he's done, man.
it's
Like,
ridiculous. Yeah, Tiger's the guy. Um, People like to argue like Jack Nicklaus and Tiger. It's like for me, it's like Tiger. But Jack Nicklaus is good in his own right. He has 18 majors, so I didn't I haven't really seen his highlights, but anyway, it's like 15 feet from the cup, and I'm on the fringe, and there's a little break to the left, and I'm like, okay, like got to chip it a little right, and we'll see where this goes. So I don't know, like God was in my hands when I was hitting this thing, and dude, my wedge, like I love it. I mean, I just love hitting that fucking club. Like whether I'm like, I'll even hit it if it's like 100 plus, just because I can like really get under it, and at that point I'm just trying to be safe. I'm not really trying to be too aggressive, so I might just like lay up right before hit and just hit it again. I love that club so much. So I hit it, and it's like starting to roll, and then I'm like, I just like looked away because I was like, okay, it's just gonna go. And then I was actually playing with a couple buddies, and they were going, oh, and I was like, oh, they're like, oh, show me, look, and I'm like, look back at my ball, and I'm like, oh fuck, and it's still rolling, So I'm like, okay, and then it just fucking comes up, and I thought it was gonna go over because it no one reached the green yet. I just went up, and everyone's on their like third and fourth shot, so the flag was still in the cup, right?
mhm.
So I was like, man, it's gonna go over, and I'm like thinking about this where I have like 2 seconds in my head before the ball goes in. I'm like, what the hell's gonna happen? It hits the flagpole while it's going in, and it does like a 360 where it goes in and it just rotates and then it stays. I was like, holy shit! I just made double eagle. That's nuts.
Yeah,
And that was my best hole of all time. That was
yeah. I've only had one eagle in my life. It was on par five.
yeah,
It was at like our home course and for like high school, right?
right,
And it was just like practice day. Drive the par five. It's like one of those goes up to the right. You got
mhm,
bunkers on the right side and one bunker on the left side.
right,
I had pretty good drive. I'm like, all right, like, you know, I'm probably par this, like it's pretty good drive. Like
yeah,
back then I was just starting out in golf. Like it was like my second year, like playing golf seriously. And I'm like, all right, like I might make par here. Like I'm like, shit, dude, like this is great. Like I have a good
yeah,
drive. I hit my 3H, my three hybrid, goes off to the right, and there's like a two bunkers right on the right side of the screen, and then there's like two pine trees, like kind of like in the middle of those bunkers.
right.
Um, so it's a really weird like how it's set
There's
up.
like shadow on the green. It's like the trees are that close.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like yeah, like depending on the time of the day, there's gonna be
Right.
shadow, but it's just like weird that like there's even trees there. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
yeah.
really weird. And I hit it, and I'm like between like the two trees and the two bunker, like the two trees and the two bunkers, and I'm like, all right, well, I could either go left of the tree, right of the tree, or between these two trees to like tack the green. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go left because the way the green was, it's like the bunker, and there's like this little hill on the green, and then like if there's this like basically like slope that feeds right down into where the pin is. Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna try and hit that little hill and excuse me, ride it down the slope, try to get close to the pin. I hit it. It hits right where I was aiming, which I was like, oh shit, like that nice. Like,
Yeah, perfect.
like this is awesome. Like I'm having a great hole.
Right,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
my other buddy's like, he's like, that's a great shot, Beaver. And I'm like, oh shit, like it is a great shot. Like it's
Yeah.
going right to the pin and like boom, it just goes in. I'm like, I cannot believe that just happened. Like it was awesome. Like it
Oh
was
my
crazy.
god. That's ridiculous. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Like that's such a good description. You have that little hits of dopamine that keeps you coming back. And it's like, yeah, I can get good. I just have to keep practicing and then
It's like, why can't I do that every hole? I'd be fucking pro. Like, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's like when I'm at the range, it's just myself. Sometimes I'll have like some buddies and but it's just like when I'm by myself, like in my mind, like I'll put some headphones in, just relax. It's like it's only me out there on the range. But like when I'm looking at other people hit, it's like, man, I have other people watching me now. It's like I don't want to fuck up. You have like all these external
Hmm.
like anxieties and things that you're thinking about. And it's like, don't make it that hard. Just fucking hit the ball. It's not that hard. It's like just make it simple.
Yeah. I took my buddy to the range. He doesn't really golf at all. I think it was like his like third time at the range. And it was just like cool watching him to be like, yeah, like I started where you started, where you can't even hit the fucking ball,
Yeah.
dude.
Dude,
Like
that happened
he
with like
whiffed so many times that I'm like Jenkins, like keep your head down. Like you're looking to see where you're hitting the ball, like before you're even finished with your swing, buddy. And it's like
yeah.
no one that's like hitting the ball well, like you have to keep your head down. Like I hate to say it, but I'm like Jenkins, like I hate to tell you, man, but like when you do hit the ball, like it's not gonna go that far. Like you're gonna be able to see it like where it goes, you know, like you don't need to be looking for it. Like
Yeah.
you're
You're
gonna
not
hit it
coming
like a
looking for
hundred
it.
yards, right? Like
Right.
it's all right. Like everybody starts where you start. It's like don't try and kill the ball. Just try and make solid contact.
Right.
And once you start getting that, like okay, like I'm trying to hit the ball hard. I'm trying to hit the ball far, you know, and like I'm just swinging way too hard overall. And he started swinging slower, just swinging for contact, and he started, you know, putting them out there, and they were straight too. So I'm like, there you go, man. Like you don't like let the club face do the work for you. Like that's why it's there. Like don't try and destroy the ball.
Yeah, dude. My one friend Chris, he's is your friend a lefty?
No, he's a righty.
Righty? Okay. So my friend's a lefty, so I'm righty. And I was like he couldn't even hit the ball, like you probably your friend. And we were at the range the other day. I'm actually taking him golfing with my little brother, who's a lefty as well. And he kills the ball. He kills the ball, just like I do. And I helped to swing a lot because he's a really good baseball swing. So, you need to work on the golf swing. So I was like, okay, you got to open your legs up. You got to make the ball go just inside well, at him for him that would be your right foot. So you can just line it up like that. And he was swinging. He has a good swing. It's just he needs like mechanically he just needs to fix a couple things, and then he
Too many moving parts, shoulders are moving,
yeah,
heels are
yeah, yeah.
coming up, and like now there's so much room for error. Like
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do everything today, but yeah, we're gonna play a full 18, man, and I can't wait. It's gonna be fantastic.
is that
But
going to be his first full 18
yeah,
ever?
yep,
Yeah, I pray for him. I
it's gonna be a
remember my first
long
full
day,
18,
man.
dude. Yeah, I pray for you too, man. Like, cause like I went out
Patience.
with my buddy and his dad, who were like, you know, they've golfed together like for the last couple years, and it was me and my other buddy, both our first days ever golfing, and yeah, man, yeah,
Patience.
it's a humbling experience for sure.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, man. So we got to do this again sometime. We definitely got to do this like next week or whatever. Talk
Yeah,
about
for
a golf
sure.
game or something. But yeah, man, it was a pleasure, bro. Yeah, so I don't have any sponsors. I wish I could shout something out, but do you have any projects coming out? Anything I can shout out?
Uh, Not really, man. Like I'm just basically been building up my LinkedIn and getting ready for, sales and at a
Yeah.
tech company. So,
All right. Well,
just been
guys,
gearing
go.
up for that, reading a lot of books.
Yeah, me too. I've been reading Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki, and then I have How Successful People Think, John Maxwell. I'm looking at that Dean Graziosi book too. That'd be nice. I know, dude. Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. Have you read that yet?
No, I haven't.
It's a 30-page book. You could probably finish it today if you wanted to. It's Managing Oneself. It's so I love it. It's really great. It's just
Yeah,
it's very practical on how to just manage your life. Exactly what it says.
this is what I've been reading right now. Spin selling.
Been selling.
Yeah, it's all about like the larger sale and
Okay.
like business to business sales.
Yeah.
And like what works in business to business sales compared to like business to consumer. And
Yeah.
you know, they did like actually they did like it's one of the few research studies on sales. Like they analyzed like 35,000 sales calls and like interviewed
Wow.
so many people. So they got so much data on like this is statistically what works and statistically doesn't work, right? So I thought it was an interesting book that actually had like, data behind it. And like there's a lot of sales books that are just like bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Like
There's a lot.
there's a lot of people that they just posting bullshit about sales, like, and it's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
that's
It's
a whole
crazy.
other different discussion.
Yeah. It's a whole other topic. Go check out Ryan Beaver, Ryan Biever on LinkedIn. At Oracle, one of the best software companies in the world. And yeah, guys, with that, thank you as always, and we'll tune in for next time. Thank you guys so much.
All right, peace out, Sean.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good round. We'll text you. All right.
Yeah, you too. Let me know how you're shooting.
Bogeys and stogies. Let's get it.
All right, see you, man.
All right. Take care, buddy. Bye bye.